Hello, everyone, and welcome back to an X-Files episode. This episode is The Jersey Devil, the fifth episode of the first season. And I'm going to say this right out front. I don't really like this episode. I remember seeing when it was first being aired, back when I was a little... Well, I wasn't really a little kid at that point, but I was younger. I was in like 10, 12, somewhere in that area, maybe even 13. And thought, oh man, this looks really scary. They're addressing Bigfoot. They're not really addressing Bigfoot in this episode. They make you think it's about Bigfoot. But really, it's not. And it's kind of sad. And at the end of the day, we still have to talk about this episode, but this is going to get one of the lower ratings for my season 1. Just because this has nothing to do with anything, and the monster of the week is kind of not even really a monster. At best. So, we're going to start, and I guess we'll see where it goes from there. So, it starts in 1950s, 1940s, somewhere in there. A man is attacked while fixing a flat tire. This couple with kids pull over, and he's attacked by something, and they find his corpse, and it's all mangled. And they track it down, and they shoot into this cave, and it cuts. And now it's back in present day, and they found another body with its arm missing. This ranger finds it out in the Pine Barrens, apparently, near Atlantic City. And Mulder and Scully go down there to investigate, and the detective's like, "You have no jurisdiction here. Get the fuck out." And Scully's like, he's not wrong. We don't have any jurisdiction here, and there's no reason for us to press this issue. We should get out. Mulder doesn't want to do that. So meanwhile, Scully has has to attend like a birthday party for her godson, which is some character development for her, and she ends up meeting a guy there. Meanwhile, Mulder's like, "Nah, I'm gonna stake this out and try to figure it out." And he's scoping the place out, and he comes across these homeless people that see this shadowy figure. And Mulder sees something after he trades places with a guy, this homeless man, and he sees something, a humanoid form of some sort. And he gets basically thrown in the drunk tank because they think he's a vagrant. He's not actually a vagrant, but, he basically is being a vagrant for the purposes of this. And Scully brings Mulder to meet this anthropologist, and they talk about it. And then they talk about the situation with the primate or Bigfoot or whatever it is, because they're not sure what it is at the moment. And the anthropologist is impressed, said it'd be impressive if it could be something like a Neanderthal or a Sasquatch, something like that. He'd be like, this would be very unlikely for this to happen. Mulder goes to meet with the local park ranger that found the corpses, and he explains to him how many years ago he saw this, basically a feral man, come running out of the woods and sniffed the air, and it ran off. It ran away from him because it knew he was there. And now he doesn't go out in the woods without a gun. So what ends up happening is Mulder gets together his crack team consisting of himself, Dana, the anthropologist, and the ranger, and they go hunting this thing. And they track it down. It goes back to the Barrens, and they dart it, but it doesn't go down immediately, and the police find it, and they shoot it and kill it and take the body away. And Mulder says there's no reason to kill it. There was no reason to kill it, and the police are like, well, whatever, we don't care. Autopsy shows that it's... when they do the autopsy, it shows that it doesn't have any abnormal bone structure, and that it was eating what looked like human bones in the digestive tract. So it had been eating people, at least. And yeah, they formulate that it must have just been someone that went feral. And meanwhile, the stinger at the end is this father and son are hiking, and the son says, "Oh, I think I saw something," and the father's like, "Oh, I ever tell you the story of the Jersey Devil?" And a young child that looks similar to the woman that was killed pops out from like this hole in the ground after they pass by, and looks at them before ducking back in. My issues with this are twofold. First, the monster is literally just a feral person. Doesn't have any special abilities other than it is a person who has no speech, has no, from what we can tell, higher thinking. It has complete animal instincts, acts like an animal. Basically, it's a human minus the intelligent part of our brain. And ultimately, like, this episode had a lot of potential. It's called the Jersey Devil. The Jersey Devil is a very interesting case. It involves this bat-winged monster that supposedly flies around in the Jersey Pine Barrens. What we get in this episode is effectively discount Bigfoot, because it's not even really a Bigfoot, it's just a person. And I have heard of wild people living there, but they aren't like wild like feral. They're wild like, effectively they're just backwoodsmen who don't interact with society. They have like their own, they have their little house way back in the woods. No one bothers them. They don't bother anybody. They hunt for their own food. They grow their own, whatever. And they live out there. I don't know how many people do that nowadays, but I'm sure there's more than a couple. But yeah, this episode, not that great. I'm going to put this at the low point of the season. As far as I've seen so far, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 10. You can very easily skip this episode and you will not miss much. I was excited for it, but at the end of the day, it does not deliver very well. And unfortunately, there has to be a bad episode once in a while, because just with the really good, there's always the really bad. And most of the episodes are probably going to be hovering between 4 and 6 when I rate them, because a 4 or 5 is not a bad rating. It's just a below average or average. This is normal for the X-Files. There's a lot of good episodes, but considering that the average of the episodes it should be 5, only the best should get or better than that should get above that. If there's a lot of good episodes, then there's going to be a lot of average ones. But this one, bottom of the bucket, unfortunately. There's no real character development. Oh, there's a little bit. Scully has this thing with this guy. She goes on a couple dates with him, but other than that, there's really no character development. And ultimately, she decides at the end of the episode not to go through with the second date. So that's not even really developed all that much. Anyway, see you next time, guys, where we check out the episode Shadows.